Hey everyone, Paul here from Dusty Workbench. In today's video, we're going to talk about the 5 steps to starting a woodworking business. And of course, this is for beginners. We're just sort of explaining the 5 steps that we feel are important. Looking back when, if we look back to when we started our business, not really thinking about what is needed. We sort of evolved into a business years back, and then we stopped it, and now we're coming back into it. We kind of took a different approach when we restarted last end of summer, fall kind of thing. So we just thought we'd share with you, for those who are really thinking about starting a business, 5 things or 5 steps that you should be considering before starting that business. So stay tuned and we'll be right back. The 5 steps, I'm going to list them here. Now these are, again, for beginners. It's going to be a very simple, list, but I will explain more into what exactly we're talking about. So one of them is, of course, you'll need some skills, some woodworking skills. I'll get into more detail. You'll need a space, of course, as well to do your business from, or to build your furniture or build whatever it is that you're going to be building in woodworking. Another thing is, of course, you'll be needing tools. 4, you'll need, of course, to find customers to buy your product. 5, I think, is one of the most important things to start a business, and that's motivation and how to keep that motivation. So we'll talk about that aspect, especially when it comes to us as well. So let's turn back. Let's go to number 1, skills. So, of course, in our case, I didn't have any training in regards to woodworking. The only training or teaching I've ever had when it came to woodworking was actually in grade 7 and 8, when we had a woodwork shop at our elementary school. Actually, it wasn't even at our school. We had to be bussed over to another school to do that every couple of weeks. So that was really my only training when it came to woodworking. So didn't have anybody close, family or friends. So after I met Brenda and we moved in together and we lived together for a little while, we needed furniture. We had a very limited budget because we were both working kind of part-time jobs at the time, but we did want some furniture. So the first thing I built was a TV stand, of course. The TV stand was for a tube TV, so it needed to be pretty rugged and durable to hold up one of those big boxes, as well as we came across getting a new stereo. At that time, I had surround sound, so we were really, really excited about that. And the only tools I had back then were a screwdriver and a handsaw, so I bought some lumber, some 2x3s, and started cutting and screwing those 3-inch screws together with some glue as well, and made sort of this TV stand here. I'll show it here on the side maybe. And that was my first woodworking project for furniture. Anyways, I'd done some other little bit of woodworking stuff on the side, but not really a piece of furniture that we put into our house. So that was one of our first things. What I say here is that the skills basically you're going to build up with time by doing projects. Starting off with one project, you don't necessarily need to go out and get training. You don't need a mentor. Definitely would be much easier if you did have a mentor and you did have, the actual training. If you can do it, absolutely, it'll save you a lot of headaches and a lot of time, and gain that experience much faster. Versus the way I did it was by trial and error. So this brings me up to a meme I saw on Facebook the other day, where an interviewer is asking a businessman some questions. The first question goes like, how do you become successful? And the businessman says, well, you have to make the right decisions. So the interviewer asks, how do you make the right decisions? Well, then the businessman says, you get experience. Okay, so interviewer asks, how do you get experience? Businessman, of course, says, you make the wrong decisions, and that's how you gain experience. So it comes down to the same thing. I probably blew the whole joke there. Maybe I'll put it, if I can find that meme, I'll put it up here, but it's basically, you got to gain experience by just doing it. And that's with woodworking, it's absolutely, even if you get training, you have a mentor, you still have to practice yourself. It's one thing looking at people and having someone beside you and showing you what to do, but when you actually have to stand alone and do it on your own, then it's going to be a whole different ball game. So just, go out and do whatever you can to learn and get that experience. So make mistakes, make the right decisions, and learn, and then you'll be able to go on your way to making great furniture or whatever it is that you want to make. So that's skills. So don't let the fact that you don't have training or the experience to stop you from starting a business in woodworking. It's just a matter of starting somewhere and working your way up with experience. So number 2 is having the space. Now, right now we're in a 2-car, or actually it's a 1.5 car garage that we're in right now. I was just in a small little, it was about 3 feet by 6 foot side shed kind of thing, and I actually had to duck to actually work in there. It wasn't heated, spidered enough to do it. Just start doing it in whatever space you have. Now there's 2 ways you can look at it. One, you start your business by being in whatever space you're in right now and just modifying or tailoring your type of projects to the space you have. So if you're like in a bachelor apartment kind of thing, well, you're not going to go making big wall units and big dining room table sets in your bachelor apartment. You don't have the room for equipment or even for the stuff you're making to store it in there while you're making it. So that's where you want to tailor your projects to the size of space that you have to work in. So if you're in a bachelor apartment, I've seen people that make like wooden rings or pens, wooden pens kind of thing as examples of wooden jewelry, watches, whatever, smaller items that you can actually have a little corner desk basically, maybe close it in with some plastic and a vacuum, connect it to your tools, and you're good to go to make something out of wood and that you can actually sell either online or in person. So you can do it that way, or the opposite is you basically tailor your space to whatever projects you want to build. So if you say, I want to build dining room tables and sets and bedroom sets kind of thing, well, then you're going to have to go out and get a workshop that can meet those needs, because you'll need a lot of space for storage of the wood. You'll need bigger equipment, or at least you could do with hand tools yet probably, but you will need more space to work with that kind of equipment. In our case, we're trying to stay into smaller type of furniture. That's why you'll see a lot of times we do like hallway tables or benches, coffee tables as examples. So because that's kind of like the limit to what we can build in this size of workshop, especially with the tools and everything else. And if we have more than one project going at a time, it gets pretty cramped in here very quickly. And when we store it, we have to store it when we're done. We have to store it in our house. And again, that's extra clutter, storage room in our house until the customer can come and get it or we deliver it kind of thing. So that's it about space. Again, you don't need a huge workshop. A 40 by 50 workshop, an area, like that to start a woodworking business and be profitable. You can do it in a smaller space as well. Like I said, as small as living in a bachelor apartment or a trailer or whatever it is that you live in. To like us, we have a 1.5 car garage, and it definitely meets our needs for running this business. So just keep that in thought. Not to, don't limit, say, oh, I can't do it. I only live in an apartment. I can do this as a business kind of thing. So just keep that in mind. Don't let that stop you from starting your woodworking business. All right. So that brings us to step number 3, which is, having tools. Now, as I mentioned at the beginning of the video, when I was talking about the skills, I was started off with a screwdriver and a handsaw. And I was able to build some furniture with that. Now, it took me quite a long time, and the wrist was getting pretty painful with putting those screws in. You don't need a whole workshop of tools. I did a video, the last video I did was on our table saw or how to get tools for free kind of thing. So now we're kind of in a stage where we can start accumulating better tools to help us be faster at building our products. as well as being more accurate, which of course in turn helps us being faster again, kind of thing. So because we're not having to retouch or redo things because of the inaccuracies of our equipment. So where do you start, right? And what is your budget? Of course, it's going to depend on your budget. You may be at a point where you already have some hand tools and maybe the table saw. It didn't take me too long to go out and buy a power drill. It was corded back then, of course, and a circular saw and a belt sander and detail sander. Just a number of hand tools, nothing too crazy. I was able to make a lot of different furniture just with those tools, hand tools. You don't have to have everything on tables and big joiners and router tables and big table saws, and can do it just as well with those hand tools. It's going to take you a bit longer to do it, but it can be done. And if you don't have the money to do it, you could easily get those tools for easily under $500, if not less, if you're able to go on on Craigslist or Kijiji or Marketplace and buy them used. There's nothing stopping you. You can probably pick up all those tools for $100 altogether, kind of thing. If you make a bit of furniture and sell that, it will pay itself off in no time. So don't let that stop you if you haven't got tools. Either get out there, get what you need, and get started and start building. And the sooner you do that, the faster people will see your stuff that you built, and you're going to be able to get it out and get new customers. Eventually, you can go out and buy better tools, and that's exactly where the stage we're at right now. We've been selling furniture now since about November. We did start in August, but it was very slow, and then we had a lot of other things going on at the time till basically January is when things really started speeding up for us, that we really started getting into building furniture and getting a lot of customers and orders coming in. And with that, again, taking the profits, we were able to buy better tools. And soon we're going to be upgrading the workshop as well with new wiring so that we can actually buy, we have planned to buy some more tools that will make a couple of other things that are on our list, and then we'll get more videos on that later on. But yeah, we're going to have more tools because of the profits off of the sales of furniture. So not to stop you again. Don't let the fact that you don't have very many tools stop you from getting started. Do what you have to do. Get the circular saw and the power, the drill. Now it's all cordless. It's so much easier. You can buy one of those whole kits with a circular saw, drills and sanders, everything you need in one kit for about $500, at the big box stores with the batteries and everything, and you're good to go. So do that, and again, it'll pay itself off in no time if you can build a few pieces of furniture and sell it at a profit. So get to it. Number 4, which is of course getting customers. I built that TV stand. My sister saw it, friend saw it. And then I made some other things, and then other people seen it, or I talked about it, showed pictures, and of course then they want something like that, or they ask that something else be made, and it just, word of mouth. Of course, this was all the time before internet. It was like 25 years ago when we first began the first time. So I say the first time because we actually started this business twice. The first time was really by evolution. As I mentioned, I just built some stuff for ourselves, and then other people saw it and was like, oh, okay, yeah, I can make you something and make this or that and sell it for this and whatnot. And then we stopped because we were both getting full-time jobs and we had small kids, and things were just too busy, so we just stopped doing it for other people. We still made stuff for ourselves, but not for other people. And we just decided to come back into it again this past year. So here we are. And again, it's just to find customers is so much easier now, because not only we still have word of mouth that we can use to, of course, people talk to each other, they see stuff we made and ask if we can make it, but also with the internet, with online, like Kijiji, Craigslist, or Marketplace kind of thing, just posting furniture we built on there, or sometimes I don't even have anything built, but I just say, I show a picture and saying how much it would cost to buy it, and then people contact you, right? Now, the downfall with doing it that way on Craigslist or Kijiji or Facebook Marketplace is that people are always going to haggle you on the price. You can sell something put something up on there for $1, and then someone's going to try to haggle you down for 50 cents, right? And the same thing goes for this furniture too. But there is a small percentage of people that do appreciate the quality and value of the furniture that you're building, knowing that it's all wood construction, and so people appreciate that, and they're willing. They have no haggling and no questions about the price whatsoever. And those are the customers I found are the ones that don't haggle you on the marketplace or those online garage sales. Basically, if they do come to you as a customer and they like what you do, they come back. So again, so much easier. Now, that's not the only way to, of course, find customers. And of course, the word of mouth, very strong. It's one of the strongest type of customers you can find. Those are usually going to be the best sales or your best customers, because they already know what to expect and they're more committed to buying from you. So yeah, again, so much easier now. We can sort of get the ball rolling just by throwing it out there. Large percentage are just hagglers and trying to get something for cheap, but you just have to be persistent, get the ones that are really interested, and then you just start that communication, sort of saying, this one's not actually built, but we can have it built within a couple of weeks or whatever timeline we give them. And but then they will ask for custom work, and then with the custom work, a lot of times we can end up asking more. And one of the tips that I learned over time as well when dealing with new customers is really to find out what their budget is, because you don't want to spend all that time sort of planning, sketching up a plan of the furniture and find out that they're not even close to wanting to pay that kind of amount. So best thing first, before you start anything, is like, what is your ballpark range that you're willing to pay on this piece of furniture, knowing that it's going to be custom furniture, before you get into all the planning and detailing. So just an easy tip to save you some time if you are at that stage. So that brings us to number 5, which is motivation. And as I mentioned earlier, this is probably, I feel, is one of the biggest steps when it comes to having your business, woodworking business, because it's hard to keep motivated every day to come out to the workshop and building furniture for other people. At first, when we sort of thought about starting this business, we of course would calculate the numbers and seeing if it would make sense to have this side business in regards to income and so forth. And so you kind of think, oh, well, the income part is kind of like the motivation factor. But that, for us anyways, now we're in a different situation than what you may be in. Where we're fortunate, and we're so thankful that we can still work full time, even with this COVID-19 stuff going on. So we're in a comfortable state in regards to our income, and so starting a business just for the source of income was not really a motivation. That's not really the reason that's motivating us. It might be for some other people, because it may be maybe end up being one of their only or main sources of income if they do this. But in our case, it's not. It's really, it's more of a future planning for us. It's more of our retirement plan, in the sense that we're hoping that we'd be able to retire sooner if this business is able to succeed enough to the point where one of us can actually quit early, and then the other one would be able to take an early retirement. That's from our current jobs, kind of thing. That's our our future plan if it all works out. So that's our motivation. It's really down the road, because right now, we have responsibilities, so we can't just quit our jobs and say, let's go for it. If we were like 30 years younger, maybe that would be something we can do or try to do at that point in time, where we'd say, let's just quit our jobs and let's do woodworking, right? But we have kids that are university a university college level, and we're a sandwich generation. My father living with us now too, so we have those responsibilities. So that's why we certainly want to keep our day jobs for now, but it's really down the road, and that's what's motivating us for doing this every day, is because we know that if we can get this business to a certain point in regards to income, then we could sort of look at stage 2, and looking at, do we need to continue working the way we're working, kind of thing. So that's our motivation. Again, this may be different for somebody else, because for us, the fact that we don't really need this money, and that's why we're reusing that money to buy tools, whereas other people, that may not be a factor, that may not be an option, where you might have to use that money to pay the bills, kind of thing. So everyone's going to be in a little bit this situation that way. So it's up to you to find what motivates you, because if you just do it for the money, even if you need the money, it may not be the ideal way of thinking about it to keep you coming back to the workshop, because then it's just going to become a job for you, and you might get tired of that as well. For us, it's future planning. We enjoy doing it, knowing that this could be something we could be doing for our retirement stage of life, and then also maybe have the time to help others. So I would like to be able to. I can't speak for Brenda, but for myself, I would love to be able to build stuff for other people, or for charities and things like that. But but I just need the time to do that. And of course, we do need this sort of income on the side as well. So it's going to be kind of like, if you can get some income to maintain a good lifestyle, but also giving us the time to do extra for other people. And that's really my ultimate goal. And that's what I kind of keep in my mind when I'm, I work a full day job, do whatever's, things that needs to be done around the house as well, and then coming into workshop to build furniture for other people. And so that, because that's kind of like, maybe I'd rather go watch Netflix or something like that, right? And like, why am I bothering doing this? So that's what motivates me, is really keeping that in the back of my mind, long-term plan, long-term goal, keeping it consistent, and hopefully it all works out. So I hope it works out for you. I hope you found this video to be helpful. I would really love to hear about, if you are planning on starting a woodworking business, what type of woodworking business would you be starting? And please leave them down in the comments down below. I'd love to hear from you. And of course, if you haven't already, please subscribe to our channel and hit that, or I should say hammer that like button. And we'll see you next time here at the Dusty Workbench with other great videos. Talk to you later.